Good evening, everyone. I am Fodi and I am back doing some more game development for you guys and also for myself, of course. So, what are we doing today? Today I'm going to work on a game called Shortfall, which is a game that we submitted for a jam recently. But there's a little backstory to this whole thing because this game was actually something that grew from the seed that was a little stupid 5-hour game that I made for Trijam. And yes, 5 hours because I couldn't fit into the 3-hour development window. And there's actual proof of this because I streamed the whole thing and put it up on YouTube. So in case you didn't watch it, and you probably shouldn't, by the way, I'm going to give you a little tour where the game started, the Trijam version, and where it ended up, or probably not ended up, but where it is right now. So yeah, for the Trijam instance that I'm talking about, it was 270. The theme was In the Zone. And In the Zone, indeed it was, because I made a little survivors-like, but not just any survivors, like a 2.5 dimensional one in Construct, of course, and I'm just going to show you how it played and looked. I'm going to mute the music. You're probably going to hear the sounds. So this is basically a little shooter. You move this little character with the WASD keys, or you can use the arrow keys as well. And basically this version of the game is almost identical to the one that I submitted to Trijam, the 5-hour one, but I also added touch controls later, and I did upload the version that has touch controls to this page that you can see right now. So basically, if you ever want to play this game on a mobile device, you actually can. If you open it and touch the left side of the screen, you can move the character. And yeah, or not just the left side, sorry, the right side as well, because yeah, spoiler, the right side now does something else. So this was basically the whole thing. There are a bunch of enemies spawning, and there are little bonus zones that I haven't mentioned yet. I'm just going to restart it. So apart from the 3 types of enemies that are spawning, they have different movement speeds, different healths and stuff. And the character is has a little gun and that shoots projectiles, and these are the little zones that I mentioned. So this one, for example, the golden one, is just a little coin spawner stuff. If you manage to stay within the little yellow radius, then these coins will fall and you get a bunch of points. You also get points for killing enemies. Okay, now the blue zone. This is a little more powerful. As you can see, enemies are dying a lot quicker if I'm in the blue zone. This is because the blue zone in this version gave you 4 times the amount of damage that is the base damage. So basically it's quad damage. Okay, this is once again a golden zone with the coin spawner. In this version, the zones were spawning randomly. Okay, this is the 3rd one, and there are 3 types of zones. So this is basically, as you can see, a little heart appeared above my player. And this is because this zone gives you a little health boost. So if you come too close to the enemies, they will hurt you, of course. And you can heal back the damage that you've taken if you manage to stay within the red zones. So this was basically the whole thing. Yeah, I'm just going to quit now. It's basically a high-scoring game, so you get score for kills and you get score for picking up coins, and when you die, as you can see, it was really half-assed. Enemies keep spawning in. It's not really, there's not even a little game over text or anything. It's just basically hanging at the end, and you can see how many points you got, and that was it. Oh, 2 nerdy nerds, hey there. By the way, check out my shirt that I'm wearing, that I'm very happy with, by the way. Let me just read chat. Oh, the rotation. Yes, I'm going to mention that in the current version. Thank you for the kind words. This is amazing. The sounds were actually made with chip tone, so yeah, the It's all basically because chiptone is a freaking great tool. I think I linked it somewhere. You probably know it anyway, but just to be safe, this is the little tool that I use to make all the sounds in the game. And the music is by, I'm skipping on the name, by the artist called Abstraction. There's only one track at this point. So I was just running through the first version of the game that I made for Trijam. And yes, I'm going to get to the current version now. I'm just going to check chat quickly. Yes, the camera smoothing. Yeah, so this is something that I already kind of contemplated. The lerping stuff you probably mean. It's a little weird, right? Now the question is, does it make you woozy or something? Because if it does, then it's definitely going to be probably an option that you can toggle or something. Yeah, there's a good chance that this is what you were talking about, but let me know if you mean something else. So now I'm cutting to the current version of the game, because this was the Trijam version, and it did not have this camera turning or player turning mechanic that I just mentioned. So the current version plays a little differently. It also looks a little better, probably, because I replaced the horrible ground texture that you saw in the previous version. So now it looks like this, and if I press J or L or U or O or Q or E, I couldn't decide. So basically all of these buttons work. And also there's gamepad support, and also there's touch support. And also there's mouse support which has been added since we submitted this game to the other gem, which is the one game a month gem. I mean, it's not the big, I don't know if there's an actual one game a month gem right now, but this one that I'm talking about is a little community gem in Hungary. And in Hungarian it's called Havi Egy Játék, which is literally one game a month. So this version of the game we submitted on Tuesday had this turning mechanic. It had a bunch of little changes compared to the Trijam version, and the biggest change is basically that you can buy upgrades, because one of the themes for the Tuesday gem, I mean the one game a month gem, was upgrade, and we went with this one. And also the optional modifier was 20 seconds, and I'm going to talk a little more on that, but I'm going to chat once again. Hey there, Flavius, good to see you. Peekaboo once again. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, I can't speak. So that's what it was. I just naturally used the mouse for rotation. Good for you. The mouse rotation actually wasn't in the Tuesday version, so but it was requested by basically anyone who played the game. So I'm just going to show it quickly. So if I move if I click the left click in the games window, then the mouse is locked, and now you can do the rotation in basically any speed. So this was a kind of a big change, because the keyboard version has a fixed limited speed, and if you use a mouse, of course, then you can make quick turns, and it's really different. Also, there is an actual mouse sensitivity setting, but there is no UI yet, so you have to press the 1 and 2 keys, and as you can see, there's a little feedback about the player. The mouse sensitivity can change, so if you find it too slow or too fast or anything, or your mouse has crazy DPI settings or something, then you can counter this by changing the mouse sensitivity with the 1 and 2 keys. So yeah, this is basically it. So I'm guessing you tried the mouse version, right? Probably. 10 coins and 137. That's pretty good. I mean, if it's your first try Flavius, that is pretty freaking good. But yeah, it does take a little practice. And I'm also going to mention that actually the enemies are spawning in a circle around you, but there is always a little segment on this circle, a little cone or something, that is free of enemies. So in the beginning, if I remember correctly, it's something like 120 degrees or something, and it gradually decreases. So as more waves are spawning more enemies. This little free segment is actually decreasing to around 35 degrees or something like that, but you can always look for little spots in the circle in the beginning and probably get away from the enemies. So the biggest change that I may or may not have mentioned is this buying upgrades mechanic. If I press space after gathering some coins, I can buy upgrades. And there are two types of upgrades at the moment. One is the base damage for the weapon. It can be purchased in the weapon upgrade zone, the blue one of course. And the other one is the one that I just purchased, is the max health stuff, so you can buy some extra health points. It also heals you, and it changes the max health value by 1 as well. So ideally I should stay inside this little yellow circle, but yeah, I'm getting really overwhelmed because I'm talking at the same time, so I'm just going to restart now. So ideally, when the enemies are spawning in the first part of the game, couple waves in the beginning, it's pretty light. But later, the waves are slowing down. I mean, the interval that they are spawning at is actually getting bigger. I think the limit is like 15 seconds or something. But the amount of enemies that are spawning in are getting bigger as well. So more and more enemies are spawning in. And once again, I'm not doing the right thing because I should really mine some coins while staying in the circle. So now I have 4 coins and I need to buy an upgrade, at least 2 upgrades. So each time you buy an upgrade, the price of the upgrade goes up, of course. So you have to mine additional coins to get more bonuses. And right now there are only 2 upgrades, but I have a couple of suggestions already by other players of the game. Not that were too many, but yeah. Basically, the most requested one was the speed upgrade for the player, and I'm once again going to check chat. I really like that you like the rotation mechanic, Bernardo, because this was basically my only addition to the Vampire Survivors type mechanic, and although I'm not a super big Survivors-like fan, I do like Vampire Survivors, of course, but I haven't played basically any other game, except for yours, of course. But I haven't been playing too many games in this genre, and I don't know if anyone actually did something like this rotation stuff. Not that it matters, but yeah, I was pretty happy with not just coming up with the idea, because when I came up with the idea, I think I was pretty sure that it's not going to work, but I think it's alright. If it's not too woozy, or what's the right word, nauseating or something, I'm not quite sure about that. If you make fast movements, then it can be a little tricky, I think, but yeah, I'm just going to pause it now. So yeah, suggestion. Similar to the other zone, which have upgrades, the coin zone should have an upgrade. Chances for enemies to drop coins on death. This is freaking great. I'm going to pull up the to-do list. So in the random ideas folder, I have actually coin spawner upgrade with a big question mark because I had zero idea what to do with it. I mean, Tibor, who is the other half of our little game making duo, who usually takes part in the graphical asset making, but this time he didn't have time, so I was using free assets by Graphics Kid. So he had a suggestion that maybe the coin spawner upgrade should do something like decrease the interval between coin spawns or something, but I kind of like yours better, so I'm just going to make a note of it. So chance for enemies to drop coins on death. This is something that that could work, because if there are a crap ton of enemies, it doesn't even have to be a huge chance, and there are a crap ton of enemies, so this could, I think, work. Also, I'm adding bigger enemies. The current version, I think, on itch, I'm not even quite sure if I published it or not, so I'm just going to go ahead and play it a little more. Around wave 10, bigger enemies should start spawning, and we'll see if they do. Although there is no UI for the wave counter yet, but this is also on the to-do list, because I think I might want to add some more stats that the player can brag on screenshots and stuff like that, including how many enemies they killed, how many waves did they get to, because the timer is a bit boring, I guess. So, okay, I'm just going to try to survive for a little more. So this is another change that you can see in the Trijam version. The health zone, the red one, was actually healing the player just if the player managed to stay within the zone, and there was no health pickup or anything. And we changed that, and yeah, so the health pickup is actually staying right there. There was a suggestion that it should go away by one of the fellow contestants in the HEJ, and he was playing an earlier version, not the one that we submitted, but during the development process I did post the work in progress version of the game, and I'm just going to show you a screenshot. And once again, it's not made with this version, of course, but it's a pretty funny one. So he did this. I'm going to zoom in. The first insane thing about it is this. So he basically played for an hour with a version that was not even that fun that I was playing. So yeah, and it was not really balanced, because as you can see, he managed to upgrade his health to 21, which was quite an expensive endeavor, I guess. And also look at these freaking hearts all over the place. It's, yeah. I guess he probably likes the genre, because the first two games that he submitted for this monthly gem were both survivors likes. So yeah, I guess he got a little stuck into it, but yeah, this is freaking insane. So yeah, he suggested that maybe the health pickups might be better if they disappear after a while. I noted it, but I'm not quite sure, because I think I'd rather want to ramp up the difficulty by adding more stronger enemies, maybe faster ones, probably some bosses, mini bosses or something. I'm not quite sure, but definitely bigger ones. And then the player will just get hurt all the time, so they will need the hearts. And they won't be all over the place like in the previous screenshot that I showed, so yeah, we'll see. I'm going to check chat again. Detros and Codemonk must be twins. Codemonk has a record in Dr. J Ferret. I am going to check that out. Is it in Discord or something? Because I have not seen it, but yeah, it's quite possible that they are distant relatives or something. Did he like basically break the game as well or something? Yeah, it's not natural that someone plays for an hour with something that half-assed. So I mean, I'm talking about my game, of course, but yeah, it's all right. I'm not sure which wave are we in, but I think I'm going to open up the developer console and let me just check. Okay, I actually logged some stuff here, and I'm pretty sure that we are over the 10th wave. There are no bigger enemies, so I'm guessing that the build that I have right now is not the latest one, but that's alright. I'm just going to quickly show you something. So I have the project open in Construct. I forgot to increase the font size, so I'm just going to do that. Okay. Hopefully it's readable. And oh, by the way, sorry Flavius, I missed your text, but now I read it, so now you can use the mouse. Yeah, it's probably easier because you can make quick turns, so yeah. In the beginning, it was quite the opposite for me, by the way, because I got so accustomed to the fixed speed controls that I was basically doing the whole kiting thing around the zones while constantly turning, and I couldn't really reproduce that with the mouse in the beginning because I didn't have the agility, so it was a skill issue, of course. But yeah, now it's now I can see why it was a requested feature, and it was pretty easy to implement as well. So it was a lucky endeavor. Okay, I'm just going to deactivate the this one and add these right here. So just to quickly change the way, or maybe do something like this, so there's an equal chance that enemies are spawning that are stronger. Basically they look the same, but they are bigger and have 2 or 3 amounts the health of the smaller ones. I'm just going to show it to you quickly. I'm going to mute the music. So these bugs are, yeah, come in 2 sizes, and not just the bugs, all enemies. Crab is also one small, one big. So these enemies are going to spawn in from wave 10 at the moment. I have zero idea if it's balanced or not. We're just going to see. So I'm just going to move everything back like this. This is the part where the start wave function is running. And for the first wave, the 3 types of the enemies that you saw in the game are added to this, what is it called? Not permutation table, but probability table with equal weights. And from wave 10, the XL enemies, I'm not fat shaming or anything, they are just, yeah, big, are also added with only 10% chance, but the 10% is actually added on at every wave at this point. It's probably not balanced or anything, but it's a starting point. So thank you for the follow, Tuna the Nerds. This is really nice of you. Oh yeah, construct. Yeah, sorry. I'm just going to read chat once again. Ping CodeMonk screenshot to you on Discord. Okay, I'm going to check it out. Played for 76 minutes. Yeah, definitely related. That's nuts. You almost dived into construct instead of Godot when you were learning something new. Yeah, I mean, I'm quite the opposite. Basically, I'm considering exploring Godot, but the problem is that I love construct so freaking much. It just freaking clicks with me, and there's also a really weird reason for this. And it's mostly because when I was a kid and I was like in 7th grade or 8th grade or something, possibly sooner, I don't know, sometime around the end of primary school, I came across this piece of software called Click and Play. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. You're quite a bit younger than me, so you probably didn't. But it's basically from the same software studio that made Multimedia Fusion. And there was the Games Factory in between Click and Play and Multimedia Fusion. So it's, once again, very similar to Construct. It has events, but it's a lot clunkier than Construct. And also Construct, the 3rd version that I'm using, is completely running in the browser. So this is basically just Chromium. This is a PVA that I installed, but it's literally Chromium and nothing else. And this is quite good because if you're making a web game and you're running the editor in the web version as well, there's a good chance that you're not going to come across any surprises when you're building the web version, because it literally plays the web version every time I run the project. So this is cool. And also I can sprinkle in JavaScript wherever I want, and it also has TypeScript support, which is probably cool. I never used it, so, but yeah, I kind of love Construct. It's opinionated, but if it clicks with you, then it gives you the speed that I really doubt that anyone can match, at least for 2D games, of course, with Godot or Unity or anything like that. But also it has a bunch of restrictions, and not to mention it also has a price tag, so it keeps a bunch of developers away, that's for sure. Yep, so chunk enemies, yes, exactly. Yeah, a little chunky. Not too much, but yeah. Given the quality of what you're making, I don't see a reason for you to change. This is really nice of you to say, so thank you very much. I just wish I had any graphic skills, but I have a friend, so yeah. He does the graphics usually, and he promised me that he will do the graphics for this game as well. But right now I'm pretty happy with the assets. Let me just show you quickly what is in the pipeline, because I did browse the asset packs by Graphics Kid. I already mentioned that he has a bunch of assets that I downloaded. Basically, work really quickly. So yeah, there it is. There's a very good chance that if you ever partaken in a jam, any game jam basically, you might have come across some games that use these assets, because these are freaking cute and funny, and they are really well made. So I used some characters from this. This is the little bug. This is the character that I have. I'm in the player. And I think the other packs might contain the other ones. Yeah, this has turned into Where's Wally or Waldo or whatever. Yeah, whatever. So I'm going to add this little guy, I think, in a coming update. A little robot. And also there's a bigger enemy. I mean, the resolution is, I think, bigger, so he might work better for the current chunky ones. I mean, I will probably replace them, because I don't really like the way that they are scaling. I mean, the pixel size, the resolution is a bit wrong when you see the small version and the big version next to each other, so yeah. Okay, so Graphics Kid. They are awesome, and they have all this stuff available for free, and it's also for personal and commercial use. I highly recommend anyone who is graphically impaired like me to grab these assets and go nuts with it, because they are great for top-down stuff. They are probably primarily built for side view things like platformers and stuff like that, but I think they work pretty good in this 2.5D view as well. So checking chat once again. You want to eat them? Okay. That is not weird. I think it's totally fair. I mean, they look edible, some of them anyway. Some of them are vegetables and fruit, so at least part of them. So why not? Graphically impaired, feel free. As I already mentioned, I think I made a little dumb joke in sorcery story stream once about she preferring Prots-gen over D-gen, yeah, because Biggs and the guys were there and they were destroying the stream, of course. So yeah, and I mentioned that all my jokes are CC0 license, so basically public domain. Go nuts with it. Okay, so I'm just going to close up the sprites, and I'm actually going to check out the to-do list, because this little text file, this whole thing, is mostly a little version history or something. So this was the bit that I used for Trijam. This was the to-do list that I gradually ticked, and this was the little timesheet that I logged, the little windows or the sessions basically that I was working when I was working on the game for Trijam. And yeah, I clocked in at 5 hours instead of 3, whatever, it happens. Then there was the little Trijam update. I had the touchscreen support and also a bunch of smaller stuff, minor enhancements and bug fixes. Then there was the stream game update. Before I basically did a little stream last Sunday, and I added the touch input for turning. So this is where, if you want to play the game on mobile, you actually can. you can spawn a little virtual joystick on the left side of the screen if you press anywhere basically and move your finger. And on the right side of the screen, it does the same, but it's for turning instead of movement. And there's also a little virtual button that appears that says buy upgrades or something if you start using the touch controls. So yeah, this was Sunday basically, and then this was the to-do list for the HEJ gem, so the 1 game a month gem that had the Tuesday deadline. And the biggest changes were using coins to buy upgrades. The health zone spawns pickups instead of directly healing the player. I added the timer. I removed the score feature. I added this little enemy spawning tween, so when the enemies are spawning, they are actually falling from the sky and doing a little bounce or something. And then I added the little text blurbs. Some of the enemies are actually taunting you. I don't know if you noticed it, but yeah. And also the damage numbers are using the same system. I added the tutorial. It's not a tutorial, and it's really crap, and I'm going to add the tutorial at one point that gradually introduces all the mechanics, because currently there's only like a little text pop up when you are in the zones. And yeah, damage numbers. So yeah, also there was a little performance problem after I added the text blurbs and the damage numbers, because it started to run like crap on mobile. I mean, it was basically unplayable on my iPad, so yeah. I had to make a little change after the jam deadline, and I think this was the next day or something, or possibly no. So the deadline was on Tuesday, and there was a little event where everyone basically who was in the capital city Budapest gathered in a little pub, and there was a big screen, and they went through all the games that were submitted for the jam. There were 11 of them, by the way, which is really cool. And yeah, I think before that happened, I did this little upgrade, which fixed the performance on mobile, hopefully. I mean, not fixed, but it vastly improved it, because it doesn't use these types of text objects. These are basically true type fonts, and they are quite expensive to render. So I replaced them with the classic sprite font stuff, which is just pre-rendered to the bitmap. So yeah, and then today or yesterday, today is the 7th. Yeah, so I added the chunky enemies today, and this is where we are. So I'm not going to touch the boring stuff to-do list for sure, but this was quite a long intro, by the way. Damn. So yeah, I have this little to-do list, and I'm going to randomly select some stuff from it and make some actual changes to the game. So right now I have version 25 prepared. It's basically the same as the one on HEJ, but now it has the chunky enemies. So I'm just going to quickly export this and also show you how freaking easy it is to export an HTML5 game in Construct. And also I'm going to check chat. I always forget it. Yeah, on mobile, it's actually quite freaking hard. I mean, Tibor was testing it on mobile on Tuesday, and he sucked a lot. And this was before the performance issues. So yeah, it's probably not great on mobile. I primarily added the touchscreen support so I can test the game in bed, on the toilet, or basically whatever. So yeah, but it's probably not the best way to play it. Not to mention that it doesn't have the quick turning stuff, but this is something that I could probably try doing. I mean, since it's essentially an analog control with the virtual joysticks, I'm just going to quickly show what I'm talking about. I'm going to enable mouse input or mouse emulation. So on mobile, if you press the left side of the screen, then you can, no, it's actually either, no, I know what's doing this. So yeah, I have to disable the mouse rotation quickly before I can show you. I think this is the one, hopefully. So My brain expected the rotation on mobile to work like the mouse. As in, I expect it to be able to drag the rotation, and if that makes sense, it absolutely does. Exactly. So yeah, right now it's just the basically fixed speed version, just like on a keyboard, which is not great. And yes, I'm going to demonstrate. Ooh, quickly mute the music. So if I press the left side of the screen, it's not working. Why isn't it working? Never mind. I mean, probably because I need to disable this as well. Hopefully this is the problem, the mouse lock. Let me just try one more time. Okay, now it's working. So if I press the left side of the screen, it shows the little blue circle. It's a virtual joystick, and if you move anywhere relative to the virtual joystick, then the player will move in that direction as well. And since I cannot do multi-touch on the screen with a mouse, I'm just going to move the WASD keys and press the right side of the screen, and this does the rotation thing. But this is basically just a fixed speed version, so if I even move just a little bit to the right from the point that I tapped the screen, it's also moving at the same speed if I move quite far from it. And this is probably something that I could fix, do a little analog stick-like input handling. So if you only move it a little, then it's a slower turn, and if you move it further, then it's a faster one, but it will still probably play pretty bad on mobile, because then you have to continuously do stuff like this. I don't know. We'll see. I think I'm going to add this to the list, by the way, but maybe under the boring stuff one, because yeah, it's not for everyone. It's only for the ones that want to play this on mobile, which is, I don't know how many people. Okay, so touch, analog, joystick stuff. I think I'm going to know what I meant. Or not, but then I can just watch the stream again or something. Okay, so Flavius also said Cold Monk is at it with the game. Oh my god. Is he? The problem is that I can't really check Discord right now because I have a really weird setup, but I'm going to do that in the first break, which is coming up at one point, but yeah. Definitely boring stuff. Yeah. Exactly. Boring, but probably, I mean, if it works out, then it's going to be a big quality of life update for mobile, I guess. Right. So where was I? Okay, I'm going to restore these. So the mouse turning stuff also works. And I'm going to disable the mouse emulation in the touch plugin. So this is where we are. Also, the project file is riddled with to-do comments. So this is also a second to-do list, basically. Some of these are just refactoring reminders that I put there, so I know that I made something in a really dirty way, or just not the optimal way, let's just say that. So, but some of these are actually either bugs or little feature requests from myself or something. Yeah. Okay. So let's just find something to do. I'm going to increase the font size a bit. So something easy to start with. Wave HUD, base damage HUD. So these are basically UI elements that I add to the game screen that display the current wave, the number, and also maybe the base damage, but I'm not sure if that's needed anyway because there are damage numbers. So, okay. End stats. So when the game is over, then maybe the game should show some of the stats, how many coins they gathered, how many waves they survived, and stuff like this. Although if I add the wave counter, then this is basically solved. Tibor mentioned that there should be a little red vignette. I don't know if that's the right term, effect. So a little red stuff around the screen when the player is damaged. So there's actual better feedback when this happens. Because right now the player has a little ow or ouch or something like that, a blurb appear above them. And also I think there's a little flash, but that's not too much. And if there are a lot of big enemies, they might overlap this or something. So yeah, zone pickup, spawn clock, or zoom in effect. Okay, this is something that I can do pretty easily. Yeah, some of these are just juice. items basically. But I figured that I should do these in stream because they are more visually entertaining, if they are even entertaining. So yeah, okay, I'm just going to start with this. So show a little shockwave effect when a zone lands. And possibly something like this I can also use in later to do item. I want to add like a little, okay, this is the one I was talking about. Zone pickup, spawn clock, or zoom in effect. This is, yeah, I understand what it means, but I don't think you will, or maybe you will, I don't know. So basically when the player's in the zone, I want to give a little feedback that they are actually almost getting another coin or another healing item or something like that. So there should be some sort of progress display, and this is the one. And the shockwave effect when the zone lands is just a little circle that starts from the middle of the zone and then basically increase in size, tween or something. I'm going to start with that first. Oh yeah, so you experience the not getting hurt stuff too. Okay, then this is something that I'm definitely going to add. It's probably going to look terrible because, once again, I don't know how to do art, but I can do something, a little red border at least, and then replace it later with something that Tibor makes, hopefully. Okay. Bernardo also said that in our first game, which was also Vampire Survivors like, I used a bit of camera shake and the unique sound. Yeah. There's actually a sound, but there's a cacophony of sounds anyway, because all the enemies are getting damaged. It has a sound, the player firing like crazy. So yeah, the damage sound is not really noticeable. But the shake is something that I already thought of, but to be frank, this is something that I've avoided because I'm not quite sure how to do it at this point, because I know how to do it in a 2D environment, but this is basically 3D or 2.5 or something. I'm using a 3D camera, and using the 3D camera already with the freaking lerping stuff. Yeah, I don't know how to do the shake, but I will give it a go, definitely. Yeah. Because yeah, camera shakes are basically action game 101, so yeah. I will definitely need to figure that out. And possibly rework the whole camera situation because of this issue you mentioned, and it's totally fair, because the lerping is actually something that is working against, for example, the weapon knockback effect that we have. It's barely noticeable. If I just stand in one place, yeah, I mean, freaking enemies are coming, but if I just stand in one place, the player actually moves a little bit in the opposite direction of the projectiles. So there's a little knockback, and if I increase it, then it looks like crap. I mean, it's too much. But if I do the camera lerp, the camera just basically smooths out this knockback. So yeah, this is one other issue that the camera lerping is causing. Also, actually, it's not lerping, but it's a really similar function to lerp. But someone in the Construct community Discord actually linked the YouTube video by what's her name, Freya Holmer or something, and it's 100% hard maths, and I didn't understand anything of it. But the main point was that basically lerps are bad. Let me just check if I can. If I can find it, because yeah, so the problem with the lerp function is that it doesn't take account by default the delta time thing, so it can be frame rate dependent, which is not great. So I'm just going to put this link, hopefully, or can I? Yeah, I'm going to save it and put it a little bit later because my setup is really bad. So I'm going to put it in chat during the first break, but yeah, you can just probably do the same search if you're interested in this sort of thing, because there are a couple of other mathematical functions that you can use that has basically the same effect, but it is also frame rate independent, because you can use data time and make the lerping work on any display. Why is it playing? Okay, it's still playing. Let me just close it. I think I'm going to temporarily disable the music, by the way, by default, by setting this to music disabled. Yes. So what was I saying? Yeah, okay, so the lerping, yeah. So the game I already had some issues with the player's movement being frame rate dependent, but I managed to fix it, hopefully. I mean, it seemingly, but the lerping is still another part that I fixed in the second update, I guess. I mean, after the Trijam version. And also right now the knockback, I think, is still happening in a frame rate dependent way. I thought I added a little to-do item for this, but never mind that. Okay, so I was going to make a little effect, I think, yeah, for the zone stuff. And for this, I think I'm just going to create a sprite. Just the usual sprite. Or maybe I could just use this, possibly. How big is this? Let me see. No, it's not that big. Okay. But if it's pixely, I think this could even work well with the other assets. But I'm just going to try something quickly. So I'm going to import a little circle. I could draw one, but it's easier to import it from an SVG. I'm going to say 256. So this is twice as big as the zone, and I think I'm going to leave it smooth at this point. The collision polygon doesn't matter, the origin is in the middle, this is fine. I'm just going to say shockwave and not the macromedia one. So I'm just going to add this and the little tween behavior on it. And also, so when the zone lands, basically, I want a little shockwave to happen. I'm going to start it at some size, probably something like this. But I'm going to dynamically create this during runtime and then tween it. And for now, I think I'm just going to decrease the opacity. So let me just grab the event when the wave lands. And also I'm going to check chat. Oh yeah, 3D shape, yeah. It's going to be a tricky one. By the way, have you done anything 3D in Godot, Bernardo? Have you tried the 3D feature in any capacity? Because one of the reasons that I want to check out Godot is to eventually get a little bit more involved in 3D stuff, because the 3D features in Construct are quite limited, which is a good thing at first, but then you start having weird dreams about dynamic shadows and I don't know, stuff like that. Because there are basically no way to make this work. Although some dynamic lighting is actually achievable with third-party add-ons, but not shadows as far as I know. Okay, so this is the zone's timer landed event. So this is basically when the zone touches down. The zones are tweening from a relatively high Z elevation to 0, but they are using bounce as the easing function for the tween. And this also means that they are basically touching the ground at one point in the tween, at 36% actually, and then they are doing a little bump, and then maybe a couple more. So this is basically the timer that fires at this point. So I'm just going to quickly prototype this and say create object, I'm going to say, what did I name it? Shockwave, oh yeah. I'm just going to reference the main layer and say that the zones X and zones Y should be the position. And basically, this just spawns the shockwave object in the middle of the zone. And I also want to start a tween. And I have to tween the opacity. So let's just say opacity and value 0. So I want it to gradually disappear and over, I don't know, 1 second maybe. And I'm just going to quickly grab my usual cheat sheet of easing functions and look for something. So the easing of the opacity, how should it look? Game needs a simple pause menu whenever you can. I can chat and play. Yeah, you can press P right now to pause the game, but this is not a pause menu. This is just a pause function. You are 100% correct about the menu because there's no way to change the mouse sensitivity, the sound volume, music volume, nothing. These are all going in the pause menu. And this is actually in the boring stuff to-do list. So yeah, I'm just going to make these off stream at one point, possibly this weekend, by the way. I just hate doing UI, so I have to think about how it should look before I start implementing it, because if I start implementing it with no idea how it should look, then I will just hate it. So yeah, this is a really fair point indeed. So you've not done 3D yet. I think might get a taste for it in the 2.5 project. 2.5D, I mean, yeah. Wait, what 2.5D project are you talking about? Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, so this is something that is planned, I guess, right? So, but you have an actual idea for a 2.5D game? I'm guessing you have a lot, so you tend to have probably one for 2.5D stuff. If it's not top secret, then feel free to spill the beans, by the way, while I'm looking for an easing function. Let's just see ease out cubic and try it. I think I'm going to say destroy and complete, because if it's completely invisible, then it's safe to destroy. And also I am going to tween 2 more properties, the width and the height. And I can do this either by saying the size or the scale, but it doesn't really matter, especially because a circle is has the same width and height. So I'm just going to say scale and X. I think this is, I'm not sure if it's relative to the current width and height, but possibly it is. I'm just going to put 3. I don't know why. And I'm going to say once again, 1 second, and I guess it should slow down with time, right? So it should start fast and slow down. So let's just check ease out quart, for example. And I could say destroy and complete, but the opacity tween is already going to destroy it. So, okay, I'm just going to quickly test it. Not set in stone yet, if we're doing a 2D, 2.5D or 3D, but it's for a dwarf breakout game. Not sure I have the words to explain to the chat. This is fine. I'm just going to watch all your streams anyway, so at one point I will probably learn about it. This is fine. You don't have to type a lot. So, and also it's probably better to have some visual aid explaining stuff like this, I'm guessing. But already dwarf breakout sounds like fun, so I'm going to be all over that for sure. Okay, let's just quickly test meanwhile if this shockwave thing is actually working. Also, to test this, I think I'm going to restore some developer cheats or something. Do I have, yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to restore these, or possibly change the keys because 1 and 2 are already occupied by legit stuff. So I'm just going to say 3, 4, and 5. Not that it matters, but they all spawn different types of zones if I press them in this version. So I'm just going to start the game and press 3, and then boom. Okay, it's a fairly underwhelming experience. It's not bad, but it's far from good. So let's just increase the opacity to something that is a little more substantial. And also, I'm not sure if I should decrease the size. Let's just see what happens. Okay, the tween is definitely slow, by the way. So 1 second is too high. Okay, I'm going to change that as well. I'm going to make a bookmark because I will have to come back to this place a couple of times probably. And also, I think I'm just going to create a little constant. Maybe in other stuff that is called shockwave tween time, and say it's 1.5, or let's just check if 0.1.5, so a half. 0.3 is what I ended up with, and I'm just going to reference it in 2 places. Whoops, that's not the one. Shockwave tween time right here and also here. Also, as you may have noticed, Bernardo, I'm not really using the mouse to do the whole event sheet stuff. So yeah, this is another reason why I freaking love Construct, because in the actual programming bit that you do, you don't really have to touch the mouse. I mean, you can, and sometimes it's probably easy, for example, to move things around like this, that it's definitely easier with the mouse. I mean, I'm not even sure if it's possible to move stuff with the keyboard, but for basically selecting the object and the action and the events and the conditions and stuff like that, you can do everything with the keyboard. It's really freaking fast, and I'm just trying to do everything with the keyboard nowadays, but I still tend to reach for the mouse at one point. Okay, so what was I doing? Okay, so it looks alright, it's better, but still it's not substantial enough. I'm just going to see if the opacity has anything to do with it by restoring it to 100%. For the Construct power user easy. Yeah, I'm not quite sure about power user, but I definitely try to... okay. It's a little weird because it doesn't really look like it's 100% right now, and it really should be. But maybe the tween is decreasing the opacity too quickly. Okay, let's just select a different easing function maybe. So it was out cubic, this one. Let's see in cubic instead, which starts slow and gets faster with time. Hey there, Anna James. What's up? Well, I'm trying to make a little survivals like juicier. This is the game I'm working on at the moment. It's a 2.5D action game, kind of like Vampire Survivors, but then again a little bit different because of the 2.5D aspect, and also you can rotate the character, so you don't just move in the classical 8 directions. You can also do stuff like this. Oof, okay, so this shockwave is a lot more substantial, I guess. I'm just going to spawn some more zones. Yeah, okay, it's freaking... it's like a flashbang or something. That's not great. I am just going to go back to the easing functions and select something that is a little bit more Maybe I should just try the linear one without any special easing. And also I think I will need to change the 100% to something that is a little bit lower. Are you doing nothing much, chilling? Nice. Yeah. If you don't mind me asking, how did you find the stream? Because I don't have a lot of followers and I usually don't really share my stream, but today I shared it on the Two Nerdy Nerds Discord, so maybe that's where you found the link, or maybe you just browsed the Twitch. I wonder, if it's not top secret, of course. Okay, so it looks better. It grows a lot, so maybe the scale to 3 is a little over the top. I am going to change that. I'll just see if 2 is enough. Also, I'm not quite sure what scale in this context actually means. It's weird. I think I'm going to do something like size, which is actually just good old pixels, and say that it should be the same size of the zone, or maybe something a bit bigger. So like, I don't know, I times it by 1.5. And I could do this, but my OCD won't let me, so I'm just going to change that to height. Not that it's a different value, because the zones are actually perfect circles, so they have the same width and height. They have diameter, but yeah. Yeah. They should slow down some more, I think, the size tween stuff. So I was using out quadratic, right? No, out quartic, that's the other one. Or maybe I should change the time part. Yeah, I'm just going to check half a second. Been scrolling in software and game dev category for a while to find great and nice streamers, and guess what I just did? This is so nice of you to say so. Thank you very much. I try to be nice, but I'm not quite sure if I succeed, but I'm glad that you are here, that's for sure. Okay, so I'm just going to spawn some more zones. There's a little, I don't know, weirdness in this sizing function with the easing as the white circle is growing. Yeah, I don't really like it. I'm just going to check out, like, I don't know, 1 or 2 more easing functions, and I promise I'm going to move on, because this is not Twitch Gold, I'm guessing. So I'm just going to see if ease out quad is actually better. So it's a bit slower. Out quad. Oops. Out quad. Okay. Nice to meet you too. Welcome to the stream. Okay, I forgot. Oof. Okay. This is a lot better, I think, but it's quite big. Maybe it's a bit over the top. And also, I think the little white circle should actually have the same ridges, basically, so the pixelated edges, just like the zones, because I try to keep it pixely, and right now it's smooth. So I think I'm just going to change the sprite and basically copy this. So yeah, right now this was 128 by 128, so I'm just going to resize this, delete it, paste it, and now the edges are crispy, like bacon. Quick check. Okay, I think it's alright. It might be a little too big still. And also I think I'm going to reduce the size tween, so something like 1.2 or 1.1 might work better because I don't want it to spill over the zone's edges too much. Maybe it shouldn't spill over the edges at all. Let's just see what happens if I remove the multiplier. Should the max scale match the zone size? That's we're about to find out. Yeah, I think it should, but what do you guys think? Is this better, or is it better if it spills over a little? Or maybe I should reduce it so it stops before it reaches the zone, the edges. I mean, oops, something screwed up. This one didn't disappear. Weird. I'm just going to say destroy and complete for this one as well. But maybe this was because I pressed the keys too quickly and maybe two zones spawned at the same time. I don't know. Oh, it seems fine. I'll just spawn a few more zones, the other types as well. See how they look. They look alright. Okay. I think it looks great. That's good. And how about the opacity? Is that alright? I mean, for the first version, I can always tweak it later, but if it's not an eyesore, that I think I'm just going to move on at this point. And while I wait for some feedback, if you will, I will also do some, or no. Basically, yeah, I don't have to do any more constant refactoring because I have no more values. There are no magic numbers or anything. I just tween it to the zone size and I tween opacity to 0. That's all right. And in the object templates, I have the starting opacity of 70%. So yeah, look good. All right. Thank you, Anna. Okay. Then I think I'm just going to shockwave effect when the zone ends, tick, that's done. I'm also going to move it to the top of the list because of my OCD. So, okay, what was the other one that I wanted to make? The zone pickup, spawn clock, or zoom in effect. Okay, so I'm just going to essentially do the same when or something very similar, but I think I'm going to use the same object to do a little effect. So when the player enters the zone, I want the zone to have some sort of visual feedback for the player so they know when a coin or a medkit basically is about to spawn. So what I need to do is find the part where the item spawning happens. But before I do that, I think I'm just going to quickly disable the developer cheats and make an export. I already made an export, but I didn't upload it to itch, so I am going to mitigate that. Okay. So also I'm going to show how it works in construct and from construct to itch or basically anywhere else. So I'm just going to say export. Once again, there's a little bit of a tricky situation. When you save, there's actually a little, I'm guessing like a good old JavaScript timeout or something that disallows you to start another save or an export. This is a little tricky. If you move fast, then you might encounter it. Never mind. So export. It's basically making a little zip file that has an HTML, index HTML in it and a bunch of other stuff. I'm just going to save it right here, and also in this folder I have a little script standing by. My PC is freaking slow, by the way. So if I run this, it just invokes the itch CLI called butler, and it pushes the zip to this game page basically. And if my freaking PC wasn't so slow, okay, now it does it. And the great thing about Butler is that it makes a little block-based diff or something. I mean, I'm using magic words, I know, but basically the upload was tiny. Not that the game is big, because it's like 2.5 megabytes, but the Butler CLI detected that it's actually just 2% of the file that has changed compared to the previous one. So it just published a little 48 kilobyte patch. And now if I open the page, then the update is almost complete. The first time I open the page, I have this little loader show up, and this is, I think, when the exported version actually propagates to the HCDN or something. So hopefully it should load up in a couple of seconds. And I'm just going to check if the right version is up and if it's in working condition. So you guys, if you want, you can check the new Shockwave enabled version. Also, there are chunky enemies in this one. So build 25, this is cool. And I'm just going to quickly disable the music. You can press M to mute the music until I have a pause menu which has proper audio controls. And right now, at 20 seconds, the first zone is going to spawn. The zone spawned at a fixed 20-second interval, which was the modifier for the 1 game a month gem that we submitted the game to on Tuesday. So the zones stay for 15 seconds, if I remember correctly. So 3, 2, 1, boom. Okay. And now at 40 seconds, another one is going to spawn. And right now the zones are spawning in a fixed order. So first a coin one, then a weapon one, and then a health one. And I'm also going to do a little upgrade. I'm just going to wait for one more zone. But yeah, it's looking like it's working. So yeah, okay. So this is the freaking game, and I am going to go back to construct. And I'm going to bump up the version number, but I'm also not going to do an actual increase in the number. I'm just going to add a little B to the end. So, okay, so zone pickup, spawn clock, or zoom in effect. I'm going to do the zoom in effect, I think, or zoom out effect, I don't know. Basically what I want to do is when the player enters the zone circle, I want the shockwave sprite to spawn, possibly the same size of the circle, and just do a little gradual tween inwards, so the player has some sort of feedback when the spawning is going to occur. And this is mostly to get the player, try to get the player to stay in the zone. So an item will spawn. Okay, so I am going to quickly check how this works, because this is where the items spawn from zone function, or custom action in construct actually, is invoked when the timer spawn item is up and the player is still in the zone. So this is basically when the tween should also restart. And also I'm using a timer, not a tween, but this is fine. I can just start a tween as well as a timer. And I'm also going to check chat because I completely forgot about it. I'm crap at this. So, oh yeah, so Bernardo said mouse is definitely way easier than buttons, but also a better experience. That's all right. I think I might add some option to change the speed that the buttons rotate the player at, maybe, because it's quite slow as well at the moment. So yeah, but I'm guessing that anyone who's playing it on a PC or a Mac or anything, they are going to use a mouse to control the player's angle, which is fine, which is preferred. Also, Anna asked, do I stream every day? Oh, far from it. I'm afraid I try to stream basically every week, maybe once, but I kind of want to do more. But right now I have some light anxiety before actually coming up with a decision that I'm going to stream. And also I'm I don't know. It's probably imposter syndrome or something like that, but yeah, it's I don't know. It's it takes at least a week for me to actually come up with something that I want to stream. So it might increase the frequency, but no promises. But I try to stream at least once a week, and I couldn't even manage that at times. So yeah. Also, okay, the record 666, nice. This is pretty freaking good, but this also tells me that the game is still too easy. So at 666, I'm guessing there are a bunch of chunky enemies, right, as well. But still, they are not a challenge, I'm guessing. Maybe I should increase their health some more. Amazing work. Once again, your eye for game feel is top tier. Thank you for saying that, although I have to say that this is once again not 100% my, I don't know, credit or something. I have a hunch that you know of the amazing JW from Vlambeer, but I'm just going to quickly, yeah, this is Chromium. This is not opening YouTube like I wanted to. So basically the guy from Vlambeer, JW, who does the programming and who did the amazing game Super Crate Box and Nuclear Throne and stuff like this, Luftrausers, or what was it called? They have an amazing presentation on GameFeel. It's called The Art of Screen Shake, I think. And basically I just copy everything from it when I'm making an action game, because it's freaking amazing. If anyone is watching and doesn't know about this video, they should check it out. It's amazing. They basically show a little game on screen after some intro, and they gradually, it's a little platformer, just a super simple 2D shooter platformer stuff, and they are gradually adding more and more juice to the game, and it's freaking awesome. So yeah, this is the video that I go back to every time I'm making an action game, because I tend to forget about some of the elements that I need to add. For example, on this to-do list there is muzzle flash that I still haven't added, and also falling shells. I think I might do that on stream today, because I really want to see if it works fine or not, and also to see how big of a performance hit does it make if I add a bunch of projectile shells falling on the ground next to the player when they are shooting, because they're shooting quite fast. So yeah, this is another thing that is in the video by JW. So yeah. Okay, I am going to go back to construct and see where the timer spawn item timer is used. I am going to look up the macro. Right, okay. So basically there is, there are two instances right next to each other. This is where the timer that starts the cooldown basically for the item spawning is started, and this is also where I need to start the tween. So dirty solution, once again, I am going to create a shockwave object right here. I'm going to use once again the main layer, which is a 3D layer. I am going to say that the zones X and zones Y position should be used at the center of the shockwave object. There's a zone picked right here. So basically, when the player is not in a zone, but they are overlapping the zone, and possibly they are overlapping more than one zone, so just to be safe, I'm picking the one that is nearest to the player. Then I'm setting this little value, this variable called zone UID on the player to the zone's UID. UID is basically just a unique identifier, just a number. I think it starts with 0 or 1, I'm not quite sure, never mind. And while the object is in the game, the UID doesn't change. So this is basically so I can save a specific instance, a reference to an instance to the player. And basically I'm just saving the zone's UID on the player, so I can later check which zone the player is standing inside or near nearest. So this is where I need to spawn the shockwave. I also need to change the shockwave size. If I could type set size, I'm going to say zones.width and zones.height. So this sets the initial size of the zone to the exact same size as it says the initial size of the shockwave to the same size of the zone. And also, time for some Netflix. Have a great day. Thank you very much, Bernardo, for checking in. It's an honor, and you do that. Netflix sounds like fun. And also, today's Friday, so you guys are streaming tomorrow, right? So yeah, I guess see you tomorrow. Have a good night, and yeah, take care. Meanwhile, I am going to start thinking about the tween. Question is, do I want to use an easing function or not? Possibly maybe a little lighter one. Outside, possibly. And I'm also going to need this action tween two properties and say size, and x and y should be 0, so they should basically just turn into nothing over the same time. Okay, I will need to move this action, but this is fine. So, okay, basically I need to do two versions of this tween. The time should be different because the objects can have a different spawn rate, I think. He's outside, okay, so outside, and this try and complete, go for it. So this tween is for the coin, and this one is for health. Because right now I have two different values. So this C pickup spawn interval health, I love naming functions. Functions, I mean variables. I also love naming functions, but yeah, variables are, yeah, these are nuts. So these basically, where the hell is it? Okay, let me just go back. So pickup spawn interval health, okay. And it should be right here. Pickup spawn interval coin and pickup spawn interval health. So it's right now the same value actually, but in the meantime, this could change when we are balancing the game. So right now, if the player manages to stay inside the zone, they get a new coin or a new health item every 2 seconds. Keep up the good work. Catch you tomorrow. Will do. Thank you very much once again. And yeah, see you tomorrow afternoon, I guess, if I remember correctly. So, okay, I am going to also do something about the fact that the player can also leave the zone. So if the player leaves the zone, I have to stop this tweening stuff. And if I want to reference the tween, I will need to assign it to a macro, because that's how I do things. So I'm going to create a macro, which is basically just a global constant that's called tween zone item spawn, and it has the initial value zone item spawn. Not that it matters a lot, but it has to be a unique one. So I'm just using constantly the same pattern. So apart from the prefix, everything that is after the underscore is essentially the value as well. So when I'm doing this tween, I am going to assign it to this tag and say zone item spawn should be the tag that the tween is using, and then I can reference it. So this is when the player is inside the zone, and this is when the player is outside the zone. These checks are done every tick or every frame, basically. It's the same in this case. And So if the player is in the zone, this happens, and the player is out the zone, which means that they have a little zone UID assigned to them, but they are for some reason not overlapping any zones. This might be buggy as well. Never mind. So if they are completely out of any zones while they were in before, then I set the zone UID to nothing, which is basically just once again a macro. It has the numeric value -1. And also I stopped the spawn item timer, and the items are actually not spawning anymore. And this is exactly where I should also stop the timer, not the timer, the tween for the shockwave. So yeah, now the problem is that the shockwave, I mean, probably there shouldn't be more than one shockwave at one time, because there are no, it's not possible to spawn, I mean, it's not possible for zones to spawn while another zone is still active. But this, once again, might change in the future. So just to be safe, I will need to save the UID of the shockwave object, I think, to the player. Or not the player, the zone, possibly. Now the question is that, can I do that right here without adding the freaking wait 0 action? Okay, I'm just going to try. So when I create the shockwave object, it should at one point get a UID. Gonna hydrate quickly. And I think I'm just going to, yeah, save it in the zone object, but I'm going to make it into a family instance variable. So I'm just going to say, yeah, I don't like that it's called shockwave anyway. I'm going to rename it in a second. I'm just going to come up with a name. I'm going to call it a wave, because it's a shockwave when the zone lands, but it's not a shockwave when the player is, you know, spawning items. So I'm just going to call it a wave. So I'm going to say wave UID should be the name of the variable that stores the UID of the wave object, and also I'm going to rename it. And the great thing about construct, if I can type correctly, is that this is all I have to do. There is no freaking search and replace or anything. I can just rename the object and boom, it's changed everywhere. So it's refactoring, automatic renaming, refactoring, really cool. Okay, so I am going to say zones set value, and what was it called? Wave UID, and it should be wave.uid. And right here, I'm going to grab the right instance of the wave object. So I'm just going to say wave picked by UID zones.wave UID, and I'm going to say, I touched the mouse but I didn't click. So I'm going to say stop tween, and the tween that I want to stop is the zone item spawn one. That's it basically, hopefully. I am going to check how it looks. It also has the same opacity as the shockwave, so this might not look great. So let's just see. Also, I am going to add back the little developer cheats, so I can spawn a zone by pressing 3 on the keyboard, and I don't have to wait 20 seconds every time. Boom. Okay, something is off. More than one thing is off, but this is fine. Okay, so definitely I only want to start the tween when the zone is landed. Has landed, I mean. Where was I? Somewhere here, I think. Oh yeah. So overlapping zones and stuff, but yeah, I'm also going to add another check, The zone has an instance variable actually called has landed, and if it's yes, which is basically just once again a constant that has the numeric value 1. I don't like using booleans in construct for reasons I'm not going to get into right now. So basically when I'm picking the zones, I'm only interested in the ones that have landed, and then I want to find the closest one and then do this whole shebang. Yeah, I think this is all right. This might also fix some issues and create new ones possibly. Okay. Good. Okay, so what I also need to do is to make the tween loop, I think. Or because the regular timer, the timer is set to regular, so it's basically the equivalent of loop in timers. So, hey Flavius, get ready. Oh my god, what is about to happen? I am scared. Shock me. Go for it. Okay. Whoa. Luis Moreira. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name right, but holy crap. Thank you for the raid. I was not expecting that. Flavius, did you have to do anything with this? Thank you very much, Luis. This is really nice of you. By the way, I'm happy to say that you are the first person who raided me ever. So yeah, I only started streaming a couple of months ago, and it's not a regular thing for me. But yeah, so yeah, this happened. Hello everyone, by the way. I am Bence, but I am also known as Fodi. Bence is my real name. I'm from Hungary and I do game development in my free time usually, but sometimes also for work. Thank you for the follow. I'm really sorry, my setup is super crappy, so I might miss some notifications like follows and stuff, but yeah. This is really neat. I think I reached my follower goal as well, so thank you guys. This is super nice of you. I hope that you can stick around, but if you have to run, Luis, by the way, or anyone who doesn't like construct game development, feel free to leave at any one point. I won't have any bad feelings or anything, but I'm super glad that you are here at the same time. So I'm just going to give you a little show and tell and show you what I'm working on at the moment. Damn, and I also forget to read chat from time to time, so I'm super sorry if I'm responding slowly to any of you guys. Followers goal, yeah, cool. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Luis, once again. So the snippet of your game, it looks good. Let's go. Okay, I am just going to show it to you right now. So the current version has a little work in progress thing that I'm just going to disable right now because it looks like crap at this moment. But no, not the whole thing, just the tweens. Okay, hopefully I didn't screw up anything. So this is a little 2.5 dimensional survival like. It's a prototype, a super early one. I made it for a gem, for 2 gems to be exact, and it looks like this. There's a little player character that you can control with the WASD keys or the arrows or with the gamepad, D-pad, analog stick, whatever floats your boat. Or you can even use your touchscreen device like a mobile phone or something, but I don't really recommend this. And basically this is similarly to Vampire Survivors, an auto shooting action game. So enemies are coming from basically every direction, but you can only shoot to the right or to the left in a little cone, so it's not completely straight, and there's also some randomization with the bullets and stuff. But basically you have to turn with your character, which is not something that you usually do in a Vampire Survivors clone, but possibly some other games might have this too. But basically you can change where you shoot by turning. And also there are these little zones that are spawning, and the first thing that I made on stream was this little shockwave effect when the zone is landing. So for example, this zone is going to spawn little hearts that I can pick up and heal back. Right now I have maximum health. I also have some coins and I press space, so now my maximum health is increased. So it's now 11 and not 10. So basically the first zone that spawned, the yellow one, this one, is spawning coins. If I stay within this circle, the yellow one, then it's spawning every 2 seconds, and I have to pick these up and try not to die at the same time. It's not that challenging, but if I'm talking, I am not too great at it. But you guys can actually play this if you want, because the game's link is plastered all over the video, I mean the stream, and also I think you can probably find it in the... No, I think I didn't update the panels below the video, but if you type in the chat !_ Shortfall, then the Stream Elements bot will tell you the link, and then you can click it. And as you can see, some of the enemies are actually a little chunkier than the small ones, the default ones. These enemies are spawning from wave 10 at this point. I think I'm going to die. They have 3 times as much health, I think, and they are a little bigger than the default enemies. So this is basically mostly it. You have to upgrade, get a bunch of coins, and buy upgrades. I might have missed one of the most important bits, which is the blue zone, which gives you extra damage and also rate of fire. Okay, this is the one. Here we go. No, I died. Okay. So yeah, but you can try it on itch right now if you want. And I'm also happy to listen to any feedback that you have. But yeah, be prepared because it's kind of an early prototype, so it's rough around the edges. Right, okay, and the thing I'm working on at the moment is having a little effect that shows the player when an item is about to spawn when they are in the zone. Gameplay is very good. Thank you, Lewis. I try to make it as juicy as possible, and I also have a bunch of to-do items that add juice, like folding shells and muzzle flash and adding some persistence. So enemy corpses are going to stay for a while after you kill them. This is the plan anyway. We'll see how it hits the performance. I'm not sure if it's going to play well on slower computers like mine, for example. But yeah, we'll see. And also I'm going to add some grass, some flowers or something like that. So basically just little billboards all over the place, so it's not a completely flat green surface like it is right now. So that's the plan. Thank you for checking it out. It's much appreciated. Okay, so I was doing some tweening stuff and it was not working. That was the part that I was working on. By the way, I'm really crap at this, but if you have any questions, I'm going to check chat from time to time. Feel free to ask anything basically about the implementation, or if you have suggestions, or if you have issues about the game. I am happy to listen to anything of that matter. So, okay, this is where I create the object that I named wave, which is just a white circle basically. I set its size to the zone size when the player has entered the zone. Oh yeah, and I was about to check the loop stuff. Did I set it up? Yes. And also here. Okay, I'm just going to check it quickly. So I have a little cheat code that is not in the public version, but if I press a button on my keyboard, then the zone is spawning. So, okay. So when I enter a zone, I want something like this to happen, but it looks like crap at this point. But it's looping, so this is better. But the opacity is too much, so I'm just going to set the opacity of the wave to something like 20%. And also, I think I want to get rid of it when the player leaves the zone. So I don't just want to stop the tween, but I actually want to get rid of the object as well. So I'm just going to say tween destroy. Right. I mean, I don't even have to stop the tween possibly if I'm going to destroy the object anyway. So I'm just going to disable this and give it another look. I think you definitely got something here. I'll be checking from time to time. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. I mean, it's a jam game, so usually how it goes is that I submit it, I make a couple updates, and then I leave it. But this year, actually, I'm doing the sort of a challenge, and I'm trying to make one game every month. And right now, up until this point, I have actually made more than one game every month. I'm actually partaking in a little Hungarian community jam that is called literally one game every month, but it's in Hungarian, so it's called Havi Egy Játék, but never mind that. So basically they have 3 themes, 1 optional modifier, and you have 1 month to make a game. And this game was made for Trijam originally. A super crappy version is still up on my itch page. That is the Trijam version. I couldn't fit into the 3-hour window, but I did manage 5 hours. So a super simple version of this game was actually made for Trijam, and then I upgraded that version to the 1 game a month jam, which had the deadline on Tuesday. And since Tuesday, I already made some pretty big changes and a bunch of small changes. So hopefully the momentum will last, because yeah. It would be nice to actually work on a game a little longer. But then again, I'm also trying to continue doing the 1 game a month challenge, basically. And luckily it's also a jam, so it's an external force that I have to reckon with, basically. So it's not just up to me, which is nice. Okay, so zones are spawning. I'm entering zones. The effect looks better. I don't know, what do you guys think about this? Is this a good feedback? Is it something that is too dull, or does it look... Oof. Okay, this is a problem. I have to destroy the wave once again if the zone expires. So I'm just going to do something like this when the zone is destroyed. So there's a timer. When the zone's destroy timer is up, then I'm destroying the zone, and I'm also going to pick the instance of the wave object at this point, and I'm also going to destroy it as well. And I'm going to check chat. Got to go now. I'll drop in from time to time. See ya. Thank you, Luis, once again for the raid and for sticking around and checking the game. It's much appreciated. And yeah, go have some rest now. I'm guessing that I'm not sure what time zone you're in, but yeah. Go. And thanks again. Okay, Flavius said it looks good. I can see when you get a new coin or heart. Exactly. He's from Brazil. Holy crap, then it's a really different time zone than mine. So he's from... Okay, it's like -7. I have zero idea, but yeah, it's quite different. I mean, right now here it's 11 o'clock p.m. So I'm guessing that Luis was streaming in the afternoon or something. I might be screwing this up. Also, I had this little bookmark that I'm going to remove. Okay. So EST. Yeah, I'm really crap at time zones, but I'm going to check. I mean, there's a good chance that there's not even just one time zone in Brazil, right? It's a big country. Yeah, at least 3, I think. Okay, I can't find EST on it, but one of these is probably his time zone, so yeah. Could be as much as 5 hours minus the UTC, and I'm UTC +2, so yeah, the 7 hours was actually quite an okay guess, I guess. Right. Okay, this is stuck. I forgot to, yeah. The last version of the game was uploaded to it, but I also have a second upload, and this didn't go through, but I'm just resuming it now, so hopefully it will. And if it won't, then I just restart it. I also put all my games on play.lasermagnet.com, so there's this little simple site that just basically lists all the games that not just I, but me and a friend of mine made. We are together Laser Magnet Games. He's called Tibor, and he usually does the graphics. Sometimes he also does the sounds. And yeah, this is our little studio or something. I mean, it's not a studio, but yeah, it's our team name. Okay, this is not going through, so I'm just going to stop it and restart it. So my OCD can rest. Okay, also I might have published a version that didn't have the music enabled, but it can be turned on by pressing M, so. And also it's temporary, probably anyway. So, okay, I'm just going to give it a little test and see if the zone feedback is now working better. If I'm leaving the zone, for example. I'm just going to spawn one manually. Okay, I have a little beef with that. I think it would be better if it wasn't a little... I mean, it wasn't a filled full circle, but maybe just a border, possibly. I am going to make a little alternative animation for this sprite. And to do that, yeah, I'm going to do a little trick. So this is filled, and I'm also going to duplicate this and name it bordered. And I think I'm just going to change the size of this to something like, I don't know, if I want a 10 pixel border, then I can just resize this and draw, for example, a little circle with black. Oh crap, the smooth option is turned on. This is not good, because I want the edges to be pixely, because everything in this game is very much pixely, also, or low resolution. Okay, so I'm making this little circle. I'm going to copy it to the keyboard, and also I am going to, no, I'm going to duplicate the frame. What I'm doing now is not something that probably proper graphics artists do, but I'm a programmer. So I'm just going to say this, and also I'm going to copy this and paste it right here. No, something is wrong. Let me do that again. Please hold. I'm going to copy this once again. Put it here. Good. And then I'm going to try to copy this once again and paste it here. Okay, I think now it looks fine. And I'm just going to fill it with nothing, basically, so the transparent color. Okay, so now it's bordered circle instead of a filled one. And I am going to create a macro for this under animations, anim bordered. String constant, good. And I am going to reference it when I'm spawning the circle, which is somewhere here. So when I'm spawning the wave object, I want to set the animation to anim bordered, so it's not the solid one. Hold, yep. I totally stole that from Bernardo. I love it. And now all my friends, I mean, basically mostly just Tibor, because only Tibor sees me programming games, but yeah, he already knows about hold, so I say it quite a lot these days, because things are always breaking, of course. This is just part of the game. Okay, I'm going to spawn a zone. Good. I'm going to stay inside the zone. Okay, it looks a little weird because it starts fine, but then because of the way the size is changed, the border is actually shrinking, so it looks a little tricky. Not bad, but not great either. Also, I didn't check chat once again. If it's EST, it's 6 o'clock in the afternoon in Brazil now. Possible to make it go around the edge of the circle or on the inside of the clock. Inside like the clock, I can't say words. Okay, on the inside like a clock. I wonder if you mean something that I actually wanted to try, this clock stuff. So something like this, like a circular progress bar or something. I don't know if that's the correct expression. Are you talking about something like this, Flavius? Yeah, yes. This is a really good suggestion, I think, because it would look a lot better, and also since it's basically a cooldown, generically cooldowns are represented by these clock-like circular progress bars in a bunch of games, so it would be great to do that. But the problem is that I have not done anything like this in Construct before, and also when I googled this a couple of weeks ago, when for completely different reasons I wanted to just explore if it's possible to do it. I mean, it's definitely possible, but how it is possible to do it, I did came across a little add-on for Construct. I wonder if I can find it. There are a couple people in the Construct community who are just add-on machines, basically. I think this is the one. Or no, because this is a YouTube video, but I'm pretty sure that this links to the...
Hello and welcome back.
Okay, I'm just going to stop it. Hopefully there's a link. Or not. Okay. I am going to...
And I'm going to point for the tag. Hit OK.
Seriously, dude? Okay, maybe this is not the video that I was talking about. There's definitely an add-on. I normally use Firefox, by the way, but since Construct is running in Chromium and my laptop is crap, I'm not running Firefox while I'm streaming because it tanks my performance, so I'm going to use Chromium since it's already running. So I think I'm going to say progress. I'm in search for progress. I mean, actually progress, not progress. Okay, this is... one of them is definitely the one that I was looking for. And I'm pretty sure it's this one, I think. It was made by Skyman, I think. Yes. Skyman is a freaking add-on Jesus, basically. Okay. I can give it a go. I mean, why not? What could go wrong? This add-on is exactly for making circular progress bars. Now, the problem is that I haven't used it, so it's quite possible that it's not as straightforward as I might think. But I'm going to try. I mean, why not? At one point, I'm definitely going to get into the details, because there are quite a few parameters, if I remember correctly, that you can set for circular progress bars. I mean, there's even a chance that I installed the add-on, but I'm just going to check right now. Yeah, it's right there, so I didn't even have to download it, but I'm going to check if it's the latest version. Yes, okay, good. I'm going to delete the add-on file, so since it's already installed, then I can just try to use it. Now, I also want to check the example files that Skyman have provided. Not sure which one is the simpler one. This is the smaller one. Let's just check this one. By the way, my voice is going away. on a vacation, I guess. So there's a good chance that I'm going to stop the stream at one point, somewhere in the near future, possibly in 20 or 30 minutes tops, possibly shorter. Depends on how bad this goes. Okay, this is the more complex example. It has a bunch of freaking controls with no labels, but I think I just need to check the event sheet. Okay. So basically this is the one that I want to use primarily. This one called progress. And in the event sheet, okay, so the radial progress add-on uses a behavior that I can put on, I guess, a little sprite, yes. I'm just going to check it quickly, how it actually lines up, because this is a rectangle, of course. Okay, so basically this is turned into a circle like this. This is neat. And I can change the progress. Okay, set value basically is the action. Sorry, that I need to invoke. Okay. I might try this right now. Now the question is, should I... Flavius, do you think it should be a completely filled white circle basically that does the whole clock thing, or should it be just a little bordered circle and the border does the clock effect? What do you think? Which one should I test first? I mean, it's quite easy to do either of them, I think, but yeah. However, I'm going to need another sprite for this because I can't use a circle for that. I think I'm just going to do the old trick, 1 pixel by 1 pixel and white right now. And I am going to change the size to something a little bigger and see how this looks. So I'm going to name this radial progress, and I'm going to add the behavior radial progress on it. Okay, I'm not sure what to set these values. Inner radius, outer radius. Okay, so inner radius is in pixels, I guess, 50 pixels on both the X and Y axis. Both sound good. Test with both and keep what looks better. Roger that. Okay, outer radius. So basically inner radius and outer radius is how you define the width of the border, I guess. So if I set inner radius to 0, this just means that it will be a full circle, I guess. I think I'm going to move this temporarily to the level, and I'm going to put it on the UI HUD layer. So Control X and now Control V. Okay, good. So I'm just going to run the game and see if it's a circle now. Kind of. Okay. If I change the size, does it matter or not? No, it doesn't, because it's only the radius that counts. Okay. So if I change this to 20 pixels, this is all right. Okay, so because value is 50, this means that it's a half circle basically. And I can also set the maximum, but this is fine at 100. So now it should be a circle, I think. And also, I wonder if it's possible to... Oh no, I can just probably rotate it. Okay. Okay, it's a circle now. This is neat. Resolution 50. What does this do, by the way? It needs to be at least 3. Okay. Right. Okay. So I am going to try to spawn this instead. So I'm just going to move this back to the object templates layout. This is where I keep my prototype object, basically. Objects. There's only one instance of each object here, and when I spawn something during runtime, construct basically just looks for the single object in any of the layouts. And since it's only available, most objects are only available on this layout serves as the template basically for each object. So if I set any values here and I spawn an object dynamically, then these values will be on the dynamically spawned object. That's how it works. It's neat. So instead of spawning the wave stuff, I am going to disable these. I mean, this is fine, but yeah. And instead I am going to create an object called progress or radial progress, yeah. I'm going to use the same layer. I am going to set the position to the same, zones.x and zones.y. I mean, if I can type. And when I do that, I also need to do a little tween. And in this case, I'm not going to tween a property, but a value. Right, and for this, I'm going to need another macro. I'm going to say tween radial progress, just so it's completely clear. Right. Okay, so when it's created, I'm going to start a tween. Radial progress tween value. And I am going to start from 100 and end at 0, I guess. I'm going to use the tween tag that I just made. Radial progress. Oh, crap, sorry. And the time, yeah. The time should be this. In this case, also, I don't think I want to ease it. I mean, the clock should be just a linear tween. Yeah, my brain is getting fried, by the way. I'm also going to set it to loop. If this works out, I think I might get rid of the timers anyway, because the tween can just act as the timer as well. But this is fine for now. So I am going to do similarly another tween, but in this case the time should be this value, because the coin and the health items might spawn at different cooldowns in the future. Right now they are both spawning at 2 seconds, but yeah, this can change. So I enabled the loop, so it should gradually restart basically. But this tween also does nothing. I mean, it just updates value in memory. I also need to grab this value while the tween is running and set the radial progress behavior's value to whatever the tween's current value is. And for this, I think I'm going to once again go to the eTweens sheet, which is a blank one at this point. And I'm going to add some events. I mean, just one. Basically, I want to check if the radial progress objects tween is running. Is playing tween radial progress. And if it's doing that, then I want to set the value to self.tween.value, and I'm going to reference once again the tween tag, which is tween radial progress. Okay. Also, I will need to do the whole destroy stuff just like I did with the other tween. So basically, okay, so this is where the wave stuff happened, and very similarly I need to do this with the radial progress object. So I'm just going to go back to players and find this. Okay, this is disabled, so I'm just going to add a new event under this. I'm going to say radial progress, but first I'm going to check chat. So Flavius said, I was thinking, if you like how both look, you can have it so the coin area has one animation and the health the other one. And for the weapon, you can make circles that increase towards the edge. Just an idea. It's a good one. Also for the weapon stuff. Yeah, this is something that I haven't really thought about, because the weapon zone is not spawning anything. So right now there is not even a timer, I think, starting. So only for the health and coin zones are the timers invoked. So yeah, you might be onto something, because I definitely want to do some sort of feedback for the player while they are in the weapon zone. Although the player's projectile is changed a little when they are in the zone. It's a blue one instead of a yellow one. By the way, the projectile looks like crap, and I'm going to change it. But yeah, maybe adding some stuff to the zone as well visually would be pleasing. Let me just read this part again. Yeah, I think I'm going to put a pin in that, because yeah, it's quite possible that it would look good if I add something like this for the weapon zone as well. But of course not a clock, because there's no cooldown or anything happening. It's an instant bonus that you receive while you're in the weapon zone. Good point. Thanks, by the way, for the suggestion. Much appreciated. Meanwhile, I'm going to finish this this progress bar stuff. Oh yeah, I am going to need a instance variable. Wave UID. I could reuse this, but I'm going to just create another one. So radial progress UID -1 by default. And I'm going to do basically the same stuff. So I first save the value. I first save the radial progress bars UID to this radial progress UID variable. And right here, I can pick it. And when I picked it, I just want the radial progress. Now I'm wondering, should I destroy it and just it disappears, or should I? I don't know. Should I reverse the flow? But now this would change the gameplay, although it might look good. So this could be something that we incorporate. So basically, if the player is, for example, in the zone for 1 second, then the clock is basically halfway up. And if they move out right now, the clock is going to get destroyed. It stops and everything. But maybe it would be nice if the clock would just reverse and start counting down. But if you manage to go back to the zone before it reaches 0, then it will just once again increase. Okay, I'm not going to prototype that right now, but maybe after the basic stuff is working, I might do, because it would make the player's life a little easier, I think. But also then I'm really going to need to get rid of the timer and use the tween as the source of the zone item spawning stuff. Never mind. I'm just going to copy this and also paste it, and the zone expires. So if if the player leaves the zone, then the clock is destroyed immediately. Also, I am going to change the opacity of this to something a little lower. Was it 20%, I think, for the wave effect, something like that. I might have missed something, but I'm just going to quickly try. Okay, it's all right, but the size is completely wrong. It's not bad. I'm going to increase the opacity to 30, And also I am going to increase the size. I have to match the size of the zone basically, or maybe not match it completely, but first I'm going to match it and then see what happens. I'm just going to set the outer radius to 0 at this point, so it signifies that this is something that happens in runtime. So the outer radius should be half of the width of the zone, I guess, and the height, which is the same. Okay, so right here I am going to say radial progress outer radius x and y. Okay, there are two actions, but this is fine. So radius x should be zones.width. No, sorry, what am I doing? Zones.width times by half. I have this weird idiosyncrasy basically. I prefer to do multiplication instead of ooh, my brain is freezing. This is nice. Oh damn, what the frick is it called? Instead of the other one. Yeah, so instead of dividing, yes, division, dividing by 2, I do this because I read somewhere that it's faster to do multiplication. My camera angle is a bit tricky, I think. Okay. Right. Now I might have killed the... No, I didn't. Okay, good. Hopefully. So, right now I'm setting the radial progress behaviors outer radius to whatever the zone size is, divided by 2, because this is radius and not diameter. Let's just check it out. Boom. It might be a little big. Or I just maybe need to decrease the... Yeah, I don't like the stuff that happens in the edges. This is not great. Wonder if I change resolution to something a little lower. But no, it still won't have the effect. I know what it's going to look like. It's going to be basically a 10-sided... I don't know what it is called, but yeah. A 10-sided stuff. Yeah. Okay, it's not great. This is okay, though. I could use it to mask out an actual proper circle, but I'm not going to do that. This is fine. I'm just going to check something quickly. What if I change this to, I don't know, 40%, so... Or maybe it should be bigger? I don't know. Boom. Yeah. Maybe half. So half of the radius. So multiply by a quarter. Flavius, if you're still here, can you take a look? What do you think about this? Timing might be a little off as well, but oh no, it's probably not the timing that I'm going to take. I'm going to pay attention. Okay, it looks alright. I mean, the timing looks alright. So when the radial progress object is gone, I mean, it's complete. It has completed its tween, then a new item is spawned. Yeah, I think this is alright. But what do you think about the look? Looks good. Alright. It's definitely better than having nothing at all. What's happening here? Let me just restart the game. I'm going to spawn one zone. I'm going to enter it. Okay. think I might have an idea what's wrong, but not sure. Let me just check the code quickly. So, players inside the zone. Radio progress stuff is spawned. And the tween is started if it's a health or coin. Oh, yeah, I'm an idiot. So yeah, I was waiting for the radial progress to spawn in a weapon zone. Just talked about this. It shouldn't, because it's not a cooldown type deal. So yeah, I mean, it's 34 minutes to midnight, so I think I might call it a day soon. So I'm happy if you're happy, Flavius. I think we can have it like this. My tiny little nitpicky issue is that the circle is really smooth, so it's not like pixelated stuff like the edges of the zone actually, but it's a really perfect circle basically, more or less. So it's a little different, but then again it looks fine. So the effect itself, I think the opacity is alright. Maybe I decrease it just a little bit. Go back to 20%. Let's see how it looks. You are ahead of, yeah, you are to the east in a neighboring country, which I don't want to specify because I don't know if you want to. Yeah, I don't want to dox you or anything, but yeah. Okay, so I think this is alright. Let's just check the, now it's more subtle, but maybe this is too, yeah. Let's just go with something in the middle, 25%. Romania, doxed myself, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure that you doxed yourself before on Twitch. I just wasn't sure if you mentioned it on Twitch or Discord, but yeah, I remember that. Okay, so I think this is alright. I'm going to make a little export once again. So it's the version on itch as well. And also I'm going to go to the to-do list and do this zone, pickup, spawn, clock, or zoom in effect. So it was a clock effect after all, which is cool because what I intended was to have a clock effect. So I'm happy that we ended up using it instead of the zoom in border stuff. The border was not great because of how the tween works, and the border is basically decreasing when I size it down. So yeah, this is better. Okay, I'm just going to do one more item, I think, before I call it. And this is the red vignette effect. And this is going to be a really crappy looking one, but I want to start working on this and not worry about the art too much, but instead make something that is really, really simple, just a little red border or something. Put it on the HUD layer, the UI layer, and basically just turn it on when the player is damaged. So it's not that hard, I think, to do. I could use a 9-patch object, but in the end I think I'm going to probably have T-Bot or someone draw an actual proper border, maybe with some wild pixels coming in from the sides or something, so it's not just a normal vignette. Okay, so I'm just going to say sprite. I am going to name it vignette. I'm not sure if I'm using the right word, by the way. I think I saw it in an Instagram filter or something. Freak, my camera's going. Sorry, it's a really shoddy setup right here. Yeah, I think this is the one I was trying to. Yeah. So basically, when the borders are a little have a little gradient or something. Okay, I am going to close this example, and thank you again, Skyman, for making this freaking add-on. It's awesome. It's the best thing ever with all the freaking properties that I could set, although I'm using the super simple just the value and auto radius thing, but still it's nice. It's nice to have options. Okay, so I am going to check the resolution of the game. I think it's 320 by 180. I mean, it uses proper scaling, so it's not pixelated or anything, but still the game operates on a 320 by 180 scale, basically. So I'm just going to say 320, 180, and I'm just going to freaking draw a red bordered rectangle and done with it, be done with it. So, okay, maybe the border should be turned on, okay. Flavius, you must be probably screaming at the monitor watching me do this freaking MS Paint level of of programmer art. Yeah. But yeah, this is temporary. This is just so I can make the code and then someone else will make the graphics. So I'm going to just name it default. I might add some levels later. For example, maybe there should be, you know, something that is just signifies a light damage and something that signifies something heavier. Also, I'm not sure if I should completely hide this border after the damage, or should I just fade it to some low opacity, but it stays there if the player is damaged. Love those emotes. Okay, so let's just go with that. I am going to put the border right here, and I am going to hide it by default. I'm not even going to need collision, so I'm going to disable disable the visibility. And also I think I'm going to need to add a tween behavior because I probably want to play with the opacity. Okay, so players. The player has a custom action called hit, and this is where the player takes damage from enemies. I'm just going to quickly hydrate and think about this. Crap, I hope that wasn't too loud. Okay, so this has a little parameter. No, it doesn't have a parameter because it takes the damage from the enemy object. So when the player is hit and the hit timer is not running, this is so the so there's a little invincibility window when the player is hurt, so it doesn't get hurt immediately again. So this is basically fine. There's already a little gamepad vibration if the player is using the gamepad to control the player, so there's actual force feedback in the game. It's a really simple one, but I wanted to try this as well. This is the first time I use the gamepad vibrate action. And so basically I just need to show the border and also tween it back. So the vibration actually happens in 100 milliseconds, so maybe 100 milliseconds is good for the border to disappear. So I am going to need to create a macro, I think, once again. But I can just use the fade out macro for this because it's literally going to be a fade out. So what I want to do is grab this, my voice is really going. Grab this vignette object. I am going to set its opacity. No, first I'm going to stop the tweening if there's any tweening. Tween fade out, I'm going to stop. Then I'm going to set the opacity to right now 100, but 100 is probably a lot. And then I am going to make it visible because it might be invisible at first. And also I'm going to tween one property, and that one property is opacity. And as I mentioned, I think I'm going to try the 100 millisecond time, and I want to tween it to 0, I guess, and easing needs to happen probably. Something that is a little slower in the end, I guess. Or maybe the other way. Let me think about that. They are from Lucy's stream. Oh, these emotes, these are super nice. I actually watched a little bit of Lucy's stream today because I was watching someone who raided him. Ooh, my brain is really fried at this point. I can't remember. Damn. I really can't remember. But yeah, I really need to watch him more because he seemed really cool as well. And I liked his art. So, by the way, to answer your question, yes, I had something to do with the raid. It was my suggestion. This is super nice of you, Flavius, and you really shouldn't have, but, you know, I'm really glad that you did. But yeah. Oof. I was, once again, really surprised by you. First the pixel art, and now this. I was not expecting that at all. I mean, I wasn't expecting a raid at any rate. So, back to tweens. I can't decide. I'm just going to select one basically at random. I think I'm going to go with ease in quart. Why not? Let's see what happens. In quart. And destroy incomplete, no. I just want it to stay there, 0 opacity, and I want to reuse it basically, so I don't want to spawn any new instances. Okay, let's see what happens. I'm just going to start the game. I'm going to get stuck in some enemies. Ooh, okay, it looks like crap, and also there's another issue. The game's window is actually adjusting to any ratio. I mean, it looks like crap in vertical, but it also kind of works in vertical. But of course, it's optimized for horizontal ratios. And basically, this works by having a single primary ratio or whatever, a default one, which is 16:9. The resolution of 320x180 is 16:9. It's just yeah, it's 20 times 16:9, I think. And if I grab the Windows sides and move it, then basically this part remains there. And this is an issue. This is kind of an issue right now. But it's kind of fixable. But since this is a sprite, this is going to look a little weird if I do something like this. Because, okay, this is not realistic, although I'm using an ultra-wide monitor, so it's kind of realistic if I go full screen. But as you can see, this is a lot thicker than this one because it's distorting. But I'm not going to bother about this. Also because this is temporary. I'm just going to say add behavior and add the anchor behavior, which I'm already using for the text elements in the UI. And this allows objects to be sized according to the viewport, which can be basically any ratio. So the right edge should be aligned to the right edge, the bottom edge to the bottom edge, and the left and top edges are already assigned to the correct values, I think. So I'm just going to quickly try that. The tween is off, by the way. The 100 millisecond stuff is not great. It's too flashy. It's way too flashy. Also, I'm not too happy about the fact that it goes from 0 to 100 immediately. Maybe I should tween the appearance as well as the disappearance. Is that a word? Hopefully. The fade out. The fade in should be, I mean, there should be a fade in and then a fade out. Okay, I'm just going to change at first the 100 millisecond value. Where was I? Here, right. Let's just see. Let's just double that. Okay, it's way too harsh. Also, setting it to 100 might be too much. I'm just going to set it to 50 at first. So apparently here on Twitch, says Flavius, by reading is how you make friends with other streamers. Plus, you're a cool, chill person. Thank you very much. And I like how these small things make you happy. I am super happy to hear that, actually. And I know that rating is a crucial part of the streamer experience. I'm just not used to it. So, but I'm super glad that it happened, because I had to lose my raid virginity at one point, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so what am I doing? Okay, I wanted to check the damage stuff. So, okay, this is still not great. So, yeah, the opacity stuff makes it even more flashy because, yeah, it fades out too quickly. I think I'm going to increase the time even more and maybe increase the opacity to something like 70%. So, yeah. Also, the fact that it's a freaking bordered rectangle doesn't make it look too great, so I really need to make an actual vignette, I think. And the question is that, can I make one? I think I'm going to make a super disgusting one. I'm just going to fill this and grab this paintbrush, make it smooth and size it. How big is this? 180, right? Okay, 180. So I'm just going to say 120 and try to draw something with a transparent brush. No, I didn't want that. I wanted this, the hardness to be actually 0. Okay, so this is a perfect demonstration of how my PC is struggling. Also, opacity needs to be lowered, I think, so I can continuously draw. No, this is still not good. Yeah, doesn't look good, but let's just see what happens. This is hand-drawn and horrible. Okay, Flavius also said, be sure that when I will get the chance to bring a raid here, I will do it. Well, I am still glad, basically, so feel free to do so anytime. Just make sure that other streamers also get love. I mean, I'm super glad that you arranged this. Anyway, so... And also I got some followers, I met my follower goal, I'm super happy about that as well. I'm still not quite sure if I want to actually do the whole Twitch affiliate thing, but there are some big pros on why I should do it, and one of these pros is channel points. I freaking love channel points, and at one point I'm contemplating doing something that is actually a video game with Twitch integration. I mean, everyone does that. I'm not sure if I want to do an overlay or anything, but okay, there's a bug. This freaking weapon stuff, yeah. I think I know what's the problem. Let me just pause this. Also, what's happening with the vignette? Okay, alright, okay. It looks better, but it's really, really flashy. I'm going to add the tween, I think. That fades it in. Okay, so what was I saying? Okay, so I'm contemplating making a game that has Twitch integration and has to do something with channel points and chat messages and stuff like that. So this is one reason to go with the affiliate stuff. But also ads, I think, are only happening if you are affiliate or upwards. So I'm not too happy about that because I freaking hate ads. So I don't know. I was watching Captain Coder the other day and I noticed that he didn't have channel points, and then I looked it up and he's not actually affiliate, and I'm pretty sure that this is an intentional decision by him because he probably doesn't want to have ads. I mean, if that's how it works, I'm not 100% sure, but I think if you're not an affiliate, then there are no ads, I think, in your stream. Also, the captain is, I think, not doing it for the bucks, to say the least. With all the cash prize game jams and all the help he's giving the developer community, he's just a super charitable person, I think. Right, okay, so fading out is okay, but I don't have a macro for fading in. I'm just going to create one. And this is the last bit of to-do item I'm going to do. So I'm just going to change stop tween fade out to stop all tweens. So even if it's fading in, it should probably stop. Or not. Now it should, probably should. And setting the opacity to 70. This should probably be disabled. And a tween should start with the vignette. One property should be the tween fade in. By the way, I didn't specify this, which is not great. So the tween fade in should also change the opacity. The end value should be, I don't know, maybe the 70% was alright. The time for the fade in should be really something that is faster than the fade out. Let's see what 0.2 gets us. And also I'm going to need an easing for this as well, but I might just use the inverted version of the one that I'm using for the fade out, which is in quartic. So in quart is this, so out quart should be this one. But maybe it should be in quart as well. So it's slower in the beginning. Oh, no, sorry, this is not right, because tween is actually an asynchronous action. So I'm going to do the crappy, dirty thing at first. And I'm just going to say, wait for previous actions right here. So it actually just waits for this tween before doing the fade out. And this is not something that I usually do, and I'm going to refactor it, if it works fine, into two separate tweens and tween triggers. Okay, let's just see what happens if I decrease this to 0.1. He has a point that he gives. Don't know how that works, but it's a cool thing. Yeah, he programmed something that basically works with the chat messages, I think. Because I know that he's giving points out at various times. And also this hat stuff that he does is actually a redeem. Sorry, my camera is totally freaking dying on me. I mean, it's literally a Chinese GoPro copy stuck to a freaking lamp with some really shoddy mechanism. So yeah, never mind. So back to the captain. Yeah, so yeah, he has basically his channel points on his own, implemented his own channel points system, but he doesn't rely on the one that is provided by the itch API. I mean the Twitch API. I always get confused with itch and Twitch. So let's try running the game. Come on, construct. Yeah, so you have to have some points to actually do the hat redeem, I think. Okay, I mean, yeah. It doesn't look great, but it's working, so I'm just going to say this is done. I really don't like the way it looks, so I might just disable this whole thing and not put it in the build, because I'm not happy how it looks. But since this is implemented, I can just probably change the vignette sprite and then maybe play with these values a little. So the opacity and the time for the in and out tweens is something different. It should look all right, hopefully. And if it doesn't, then I'm just not going to put it in the game anyway. So yeah, I'm going to show it to Tibor tomorrow and ask his opinion about the graphics and maybe coerce him into making an actual vignette sprite that doesn't look like this. So yeah, he made it himself. Also, sorry, I missed the message. So Temptic has a fishing game you play with commands. Yeah, I tried it. Yeah. He already made a bunch of Twitch integrated stuff. The last time I was in his stream, he was testing this. I mean, it wasn't testing, it was properly implemented. This fishing game where you have to click the actual stream frame or the window or whatever, the video. And it uses this Heat API or something, which is a third-party plugin. I already looked into that as well because I kind of want to make some sort of basically just a little template or framework for Construct and put it up on itch and GitHub and stuff. That basically just has the little integration with the Heat plugin working, so you can basically build Construct games that use the this click interaction with the viewers. But you can also, I don't know, get a little get into a tricky situation because the stream has a kind of a big delay, so it's not suitable for real-time games. But I think the one that Temptic made is actually working pretty fine. I mean, when I was watching his stream, I think he has probably a really good internet connection anyway, and he has the latency set to the absolute minimum because when I was clicking on the video, then my little marker that said the username and it showed the point where I clicked was appearing fairly quickly compared to the stream delay that I saw in other streams. So it could work for near real-time games as well. But I was just thinking, like, you know, typical voting stuff, maybe raffles and stuff like that. It would be nice if you could add your raffle ball or something by clicking on the screen at various positions, and then it's probably randomized. But yeah, it would be a little better than using chat commands for this sort of stuff, I think. So yeah, I'm probably going to do that in the coming weeks. Anyway, I think it's time for me to say goodbye. It's almost midnight over here. And Flavius, this means that it's 1 o'clock almost where you are. So maybe we should call it a day. Also, if you want, there is a streamer, Kanidev. He made Twitcher. It's a program, I think, that helps you make overlays and different things on Twitch. I know Kani, actually. Sometimes I watch his stream. But I do not know about this overlay stuff. I'm going to check it out. I think I'm just going to make a note of this. Or maybe I saw it. It's on GitHub, right? I think I might have seen it. I'm going to check it out. Although I'm pretty sure that it's either Godot or Unity or something. So not Construct, but the interfacing bit is basically the same. If it has integrations with the Twitch API or the Heat plugin or anything like this, then I can just take a look at the source code and basically port it to Construct. So it would be helpful. Yep. Yeah, Godot. Yeah. I mean, I think Kani uses Godot, so I'm pretty sure it's Godot. And I'm pretty sure that the same thing exists for Unity as well. So yeah. Okay, so Flavius, thanks a lot for sticking around to this late hour, or early, depends. And also for arranging the raid. It was awesome. And yeah, I'm just going to make last build, basically, of this game. I'm going to bump up the version number to 25C, because why not? I'm not even sure if I made any changes since the last build that are visible, because I did disable this vignette stuff for now. But maybe this progress bar stuff, I don't know. I'm definitely going to set this isMusic disabled variable to 0. And this means that the music will actually start playing when you start the game. And you can mute it with M if you don't want to listen to it. I mean, I am, for one, getting a bit sick of it because I listened to it so many times. Although it's a lovely track. Okay, so I'm just going to make an export. If construct lets me to make an export, lets me make an export, my brain is indeed frying. Okay. Quick overwrite. And I'm going to call the little script that puts up this 25C version on itch and also lasermagnet.com. Also, Seto might help. Yeah, Seto uses unit, right? I think. Okay, the itch version is already up. I was just waiting for the other one. Let me just quickly check if it's loading the new version. Yeah, it really should, because there's this little first time loader stuff happening, so I'm just going to make sure that I'm leaving things in a working order. Oh crap, I know what I forgot. The weapon zone stuff. Oh yeah, I'm just going to quickly fix that. I think if I spawn a weapon zone, the radial progress stuff also spawns, which is not great. Okay, also, I didn't disable the developer cheat. So let me just quickly check something and then disable the developer cheat and then make a new build. 5 minutes tops. Okay, this is health. This is the weapon stuff. Okay. And if I enter, let me just try it again. Yeah, there's the spawn. Okay, so developer cheats. I'm going to disable most of them, and in a minute I'm going to disable this one as well. I think I'm going to get rid of the wave stuff for now, completely. So, because we ended up using this nice radial progress stuff, so I can probably get rid of all these. Yeah. Old cold go bye-bye. Oh, a typo. Raidal. Something to do with raids. Maybe raids were on my mind for some reason. Not sure why. Okay. So now it's radial. Good. And I only want to do the spawning stuff. I'm going to do a little weird thing. So if the zone type is not an weapon, then I'm going to do the... Crap, is this going to work? Yeah, hopefully it should. Okay, then I'm going to do the radial progress spawning stuff right here. And I'm going to move these into sub-events. So these should only run if the zone is not a weapon type, but a health or a coin one. So this should continue working, and this should fix the issue. I am going to check if it's working, then disable the developer cheat, make an export, and then really call it a night. Okay, the music is back on, that's nice. Okay, so the weapon stuff is now spawned, but if I enter and re-enter and everything, nothing happens. Good. I'm just going to wait for another zone to spawn, just to make sure that I didn't screw up anything with the radial progress object. Okay, this is nice. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. Damage stuff is working fine as well. I disabled the vignette, but it's going to return soon, just as soon as I get a little art from Tibor. Okay, so developer cheats are disabled. Just for good measure, I'm going to bump up the version number one more time, because I did make an export already with 25C, and it bugs my OCD. Okay. Unity and also Godot. Whoa. Maybe I remembered wrong. Yeah. I usually watch Seto after the two nerdy nerds raid him. But sometimes I also catch him playing the guitar, and I really like him playing the guitar, because sometimes he tries to do something that he's not quite sure of, I think, or maybe play a song that he doesn't completely remember. Seto is super fun to hear swearing, for example, in this case. He's a sweary streamer. There are quite a low number of sweary streamers that I watch, but Seto is a funny one. Okay, so I'm just going to export, save, upload, and check. So 25C is up, but it's not a good version, so okay. Probably I need to give it a couple of seconds. Clock ticking. Okay, now it's loading. This was comically, exactly, yeah. Camera. Whatever. Okay. So the game starts. This is nice. 25D. I'm going to disable the music, and I'm going to start the game. Okay, so mouse rotation works fine. Yeah, I think we're probably good, but I'm just going to wait for a zone or two. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bang. Okay. Coin zone spawned. The radio progress bar is working fine. I'm kind of dying, but it's alright. Nice. Okay. I really like this quad effect. It was a good call. Right, okay. Weapon zone is not spawning anything for now, but I'm going to take you up on your suggestion, Flavius. I'm going to figure out something that makes a little visual feedback, apart from the projectile stuff. And I really need to do something about this projectile stuff, because it looks freaking horrible. This is something that I drew, I think, the textures. And it has this little black edge on the sides, and it's ugly yellow color by default, blue one for the upgraded projectile. I'm also going to probably do some Tibor suggested that when the weapon is upgraded by buying weapon upgrades with coins, then the projectile should also gradually change, and this is also a good suggestion, but I have to figure out some consistent visual style, or I don't know what, that allows me to gradually upgrade the projectile. And also I'm pretty sure that it needs to be bigger to be juicy. This was also in JW's video, I think, that you should use big freaking projectiles because it's a game, it's not real, so why not? It looks better. Okay, so I am going to call it a day, really. Thank you once again for everyone who's stuck around, especially you, Flavius, and have a good night. I think I'm going to upload the video of this, hopefully, to my YouTube channel, so yeah. If someone is watching on Twitch and possibly wanting to watch the whole content or part of it later, then the link to my YouTube channel is below my, it's in the About section below the video, because since I'm not an affiliate, the VODs are getting deleted after a week, so yeah. Okay, Flavius says, thank you for the stream, take care, stay safe, stay awesome, save often, have a good night and rest well, see you next time, bye-bye, thank you. Are you making this whole round for everyone, or is it just Celine and me? No, I'm pretty sure this is a classic Flavius. Right, okay, have a good night, take care. I am really going to press the button now, This for all. Nice. Yeah. And it's going to increase in size, right? Okay. I am going to need to prepare that. I think I might want to learn it, possibly, by heart. Okay. So 3, 2, 1, I'm pressing the button. Thank you once again. See you around. I'm not sure I'm going to stream this weekend, but next week I'm definitely going to come up with something and possibly work on this game a little more. So yeah, goodbye now. Good night.